I'd like to begin by saying I'm Anthony Matthew with Solar Tax Pros. I have my partner, Nathan DeRock, on the phone. And since all of you have completed the certification course, just wondering what questions any of you have thus far to help you feel comfortable moving forward. Anybody have any questions?
Just semantics. I'd like to hear your flow again. I got to listen to it when I was sitting across the table from you at the restaurant, but just to hear the flow a couple times.
Okay. Terry, did you have a question?
Yeah, pretty new. This hard to not best. And I guess I need to completely go through it. But I got, how can I utilize and position my customers with you to make it a better fit for them to really get the max out of there, with the credits and stuff. So.
Right. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and get started here. So let me see if I can record this. Not sure about that. Okay. So the very first step, obviously, is to join the course. Then watch all the videos. Then we go down here to the calculator. So when you're with the homeowner, you want to keep things real simple and easy. Hey, Mr. Homeowner, I might even put the script right under here, but it's very simple. The government is giving away massive amounts of money to go solar. It's unprecedented in history how much money they're giving you to buy something. They've never given this much money away before. Is it a bad idea to see what you're entitled to? And they'll say, no, it's not a bad idea. And so you just ask them these three simple questions. How do you file your taxes? Are you single? Are you head of household? Are you married? Most people we see are married. We say, okay, well, you already know how much the total solar system cost is. And you say, what's your adjusted gross income? Because I can actually show you how to deduct this $50,000 solar system from your income taxes to create solar incentive savings. So let's just say this homeowner's making 100,000 and they're married and they have a 50,000. And here you could put in the state incentives if you have them. And so right here, you just show them right on the calculator. It says, look, your $50,000 system gets a 30% tax credit, and that's $15,000. That's money that's going to be sitting at the IRS to pay your taxes. If you pay your taxes, they're going to say, hey, you already have a credit here for $15,000. Let me refund some or all of your money. It depends how much tax liability that customer has. In addition to the $15,000 tax credit, they would get an additional $5,000. So the total incentives, now that $5,000 is basically, it's the cost of the solar system, $50,000. There's a formula, and whatever tax bracket they're in based upon their income level, this calculator is pretty accurate. It says we're going to be an extra $5,000 we can get this homeowner, right? And so the total solar incentives is $20,000. So you would go into Solo and you would override the button to put in the total solar incentives, right? And so there you're going to have a much lower monthly price than if you didn't have this extra $5,000. So then you can adjust putting some adders in there, increasing your profit, lowering the cost down for the homeowner, what have you. Obviously, the higher the income level, the better it is. We can get more money back for that homeowner. So see here, if they're earning $200,000, we'll get them an extra 9,350 back, right? So any questions there on the calculator? I like an
Okay,
open forum discussion.
Okay, the calculator's calculating $50,000. We're talking about, because of the fact that we're now depreciating the equipment, is that 50,000 then actually turning into an algorithm on the back end where it's 85% of that is what is being deducted because you're able to get that 85% the first year in?
Yeah, that's part of the algorithm. I don't want to go
Okay.
into I don't want to confuse anybody with formulas and numbers and stuff, but absolutely, this is a very accurate number of what they're entitled to based on these three parameters. So I went into a little bit more detail because you had a lot of knowledge in the space, and I kind of gave you the formulas and stuff, but for the purpose of this call, you know, they're allowed to deduct the cost of their solar from their income because they've signed a net metering agreement, which is a contract to sell energy to a utility company, and they're entitled to these extra solar incentives. All right. So now, if you're with a homeowner and you have questions or a problem or you need some help, you can click this button right here and you can use a phone a friend sales helpline. And we'll get on the phone with you, the homeowner, or you could just give us a call on our hotline. But if you click this, it'll sort of register in our system for us. So if I click it, you can go, you put in your phone number there, which is already populated. So our CRM recognizes you, you put in the homeowner's name and, you know, say Tess Jones and the phone number. And you hit request phone call. So what'll happen is there, you can give us a call on this number. You can save this number 330-623-7876 in your phone. This is the hotline for Solar Pros. And you can just give us a call, right? But we will call you in probably 5 minutes or less. We like to have everything registered because we're very busy. Now, when you do make that sale, you want to click this button over here, record your solar tax max sale. Because we're doing so many of these every month, we need just an indication of interest of how many. So you'd put in, you know, your name, your last name, phone number on file, homeowner, name, email, and phone number. And then we're not going to reach out to the homeowner. We just want to know who recorded what and when. And, you know, if you do that, we'll even give you some extra phone a friend credits. So what other questions are there outstanding? Anyone? So if you're with a homeowner and they have questions, let's go over the plan fees for a second. So here is the client fees. The client is paying this out of the loan, right? You're billing them for it. It's a solar tax max plan adder, or $1,500 that you'll put into your proposal. But we actually call this a subtractor because the $1,500 will actually create additional solar savings. In this example, you know, they're going to get an extra 9,000. So would you pay $1,500 to get back an extra $9,000? Yes, you would. Even at the minimum, 80,000 of income for a married person, they're still getting an extra $5,000. So that makes sense, right? So that adder, again, also that adder is going to get cut in half with the solar tax credit and the solar deduction, right? Now, if the homeowner wants for us to file their taxes for them, a simple tax return would be an additional $500 fee. The $1,500 fee is just for the planning and for the paperwork that they need to give to their tax preparer or their do-it-yourself TurboTax. We're going to give them all the forms completely filled out, and we're going to provide them a certification warranty, meaning we're gonna, if they ever get audited, we will defend them in the IRS against the IRS at no cost to them whatsoever. We have no problems defending against the IRS. We've done this 4.5 years. Thousands of plans have been done. We've never been audited, but if anyone is ever audited, we want to defend. There's nobody better to defend the IRS than us. And so we need to do all the talking there. And we will defend that homeowner in any court of law for free. So again, some Solar Pro fees here. If you need a phone a friend help call, that'd be an extra $500. And just to sign up and begin working with us, there is the membership fee of either $500 or $1,500. We basically set it up where you can be a VIP member and take the class, which is the very first thing, which is mandatory. You get a bunch of phone a friends. You get 5 of them for included in the fee. You get 2 sales growth consultations to help you any which way we can. We're a wealth of knowledge to help you out. And we have a money back guarantee for that 500 for the next 2 weeks, right? If you want to do the free trial membership, you basically get the access to the course. You get 1 phone a friend, and then you're going to pay us back on your first 3 plans. You're going to pay us an extra $500 to cover the VIP membership fee that you didn't pay. That makes sense. So if you're with a homeowner and they have questions, you could go to the homepage and you could play the brand story video here, or you could go to the homeowner page. This is a 7-8 minute video, but the homeowner page is only about a 30-second video where I talk about, state incentives and local incentives and incentives that people are entitled to that they just don't know about. We've been getting a lot of pushback from reps that say, hey, this can't be done. How are you doing this? Why have I never this, And to that I say, does Google pay any taxes? Right? They just hired the best lawyers in the world to figure out how to maintain a low to no tax rate, right? And that's their job. And so we've done the same. We have a group of CPAs and tax attorneys that have, researched the tax code and improved upon our strategy to make it foolproof and even provide an audit defense protection warranty certification letter in writing to the homeowner that will defend them in an audit. Okay. So just like a homeowner can Airbnb their home like a hotel, it's not a hotel, it's a house. And if that owner were to buy sheets for the house, for the guests that rent the Airbnb, those would be tax deductible. Similarly, when you buy solar for a home, that is to save money. And that savings, according to the IRS, is investment. And the business contract to sell and trade energy to a utility company is a business contract. And the fact that the homeowner is actively monitoring and engaged in their business, which is to buy and sell energy, which is on their phone with an app monitoring their system, when that system breaks, they have to call somebody, and somebody's got to come out. So could even be argued that, well, I'm not even going to go there, but they could even charge the management fee, but we're not that aggressive. Okay. So as a matter of fact, I say that 99.9% of every homeowner in America is filing their taxes incorrectly. Because if I play tennis and you cut hair, right? When we barter our services, that means that I owe you money and you owe me money. I should file a 1099B barter arrangement. And so should you. And that's taxable income to me. So in the same sense, all solar production is actually taxable income. Nobody's reporting it as taxable income because they're not getting a 1099. Just like if I was to trade services with my barber, I probably might forget to give him a 1099 and he might do the same, but it's actually by law taxable. And so I should claim that. So we are making the homeowners compliant and we're showing them, hey, you should be reporting this income and you should also be deducting expenses. The interest on the loan is deductible. Anything that you're going to have is deductible. So those are the types of things that we put on the tax forms to complete the transaction. Any questions thus far?
With that example, do you take the income that they make after the deductions are utilized? And does the resident have to claim that income after they've received all of their, deductions?
So it's a Schedule C income minus deductions gives you net income or net loss. And when you deduct the solar panels, which have a 5-year life for the IRS, you have a massive loss on your Schedule C.
Okay, so so you're limited to only the 5 years. After that, it's all gravy for you. The production that you're getting.
You have a huge loss that you're booking up front by accelerating the depreciation. Okay. So there's 3 types of schedules for depreciation. There's a straight line, there's makers, and then there's bonus depreciation. So right now, depreciation is the most favorable, which allows you to take 80% of the money in the first year, and in the other 20%, we would spread it out over 5 years. So it's a one-time fee, but the schedule that we're going to give them will last 5 years. Some homeowners, it might make sense to do straight line depreciation and spread it out over 6 years, which is the rule. But most people, we leave that to their tax preparer. Now, if they want, again, if they want us to be their tax preparer, we'll do that for them, right? So I see we have a whole bunch of other people on the call, about 12 or 13. Any questions from the new people out there?
I have a question.
Yes, Khalil.
Okay, my question is in regards to the membership fee. You can choose to go with the $1,500 initially and become a full member, VIP. As a free trial member, you're garnished $500 for your first 3 deals until you paid off the VIP membership fee. Am I understanding that correctly?
No, the VIP membership is a one-time charge of $500 up front, okay, which is your best bet. If you're selling solar, 1, 2, 3 deals plus a month, it's better for you to do the VIP membership. You probably have $500 in your pocket and you can afford it. And the VIP membership is the way to go. Just pay $500. If you do the free trial membership, it will cost you $1,500. When you submit your first 3 deals months from now, after the glass is on the roof, let's say you sent me over 3 clients, it'll be $1,500 for the tax planning fee, plus another $500 for your membership fee, right? That would be on the first deal. On the second deal, again, it'd be $1,500 plus an additional $500. And then on your last 3rd deal, it would be $1,500 plus $500 for a total of $1,500 to pay for the trial membership, to gain access to our company, to take the course and, begin using our service, right? And we're doing that because we're weeding some people out. We don't want to use this for everyone. We only want serious players on our team. And, you know, if somebody is not doing a lot of business, they probably won't even submit a deal. And we don't even really want to talk to them, right? So we're very busy. We have guys that are doing, you know, 20, 30, 50 deals a month. And, you know, we hope that everyone gets there. It'll take some time. It's a process. But, you know, we have seen, if you look at the testimonial videos here, I don't know if you guys have seen this, but there's 4 videos here. We have one EPC that got 250 reps in 3 months. We have another $1 million closer who's up 50% closing ratio in 2023. We have a Tesla certified installer, you know, using our service on $400,000, $500,000, $700,000 roofs. And we have another company who basically says in the video, I will not sell solar without using SolarTax Pros. And more to come, hopefully you guys as well. So does that answer your question, Khalil?
Yes, it does. But just to be clear, that so I'll become a full member after 3. Then I
Yes.
become a VIP member.
You become it's a good question. You basically, if you chose the free trial membership, you'd get access to the one phone a friend. And you know, you're just going to pay us back the 500 on the first 3 plans. And then you're a full member. Yes. When you buy the VIP membership, you're basically getting 2 extra things that you don't get with the free trial. You're getting the 2 sales growth consultations. Those are private calls with Nathan and I, where we show you how to ramp up your business. You know, we're consultants by nature. And then you get the 5 phone a friend sales helplines. So basically the 2 sales growth consultations are private calls, you know, with you and I to help ramp up your business. Whatever it is you need, we'll create a plan and a strategy to help you grow. Because obviously your success is our success. We want you selling as much solar as possible. But our time is limited. So for those that want to, you know, become the VIP member, we'll give you a little bit more access to our time. Other than that, the free trial membership, sort of everything's automated, or we have these group Q&A calls. We are going to have some bi-weekly advanced solar training calls, where we're going to show you how to transfer tax credits for homeowners. I got this whole presentation. Let's just zip through it real quick. So obviously the problem with selling solar is the high interest rates and dealer fees, and the reps only discussing the 30% tax credit. And many of you are misinformed on all the solar incentive rules. So our answer to that is a Solar Tax Max plan, where we lower the net solar costs, we increase the profit margins, and we make solar way easier. Now, this can be used with all new solar prospects, but more importantly, think of all the past solar prospects that you didn't close. And you can go back to them with an easy script. Hey, Mr. Homeowner, I know I presented solar to you in the past. However, there's this huge law that just came out called the Inflation Reduction Act. It was just passed in August, and now everybody's going solar. Would you mind if I just showed you a new solar proposal in 10 minutes? I already have all your information in here. I want to show you how you can qualify for some extra solar incentives. And let's see what you qualify for. I guarantee you this is going to be well worth your time. Let me just show you the new numbers because they're extraordinary, right? And that's the plan. And then any solar customers that bought solar in the last 3 years, we can collect the extra solar incentives that they missed. So we can actually amend their tax returns with our tax team and collect that money. And you can use that as a tool, because you can say to that homeowner, hey, I'm working with Solar Tax Pros. They might be able to get you some extra money for the solar that I sold you last year. You know, can I see what you're entitled to? And then you just run them through the calculator and see what they'd qualify for, or just have them book a call right on the homeowner page, right on the main page, right? So that these three things this is why you're going to boost your sales tremendously, right? You're going to give a much lower price for solar, and you're going to have plenty of prospects that are already in your database that you didn't close, right? I think the average closing ratio is 10 to 30% if you're really good. I've heard some guys touting 50, 60%. You know, they have a gift. I'm not sure, but you know, this is a great way to not buy leads, right? And then ask all those customers that you sold solar to in the past, now that they got some extra money back in their pocket, you can tell them, hey, can you give me some referrals? I got you an extra $5,000, $10,000 back. Would it be okay if you referred me to some friends and family if I got you this money back? And utilize it that way. So, you know, the key here is to stop missing the extra solar incentives that make your sale easier. You know about the calculator to win more sales. It's on our website. Here's our simple script again. Government's giving away money to go solar. Let's see what you're entitled to. Oops. I just have 2 questions, and then I go into the details here. You know what the third question is, which is the total solar costs. So we'll go into those 3 questions here in a minute. So how do you file your taxes? If they're single, they need to earn at least 50,000. If they're married, they need to earn at least 80,000. If they're head of household, can anybody tell me why these minimum income requirements are in place? Anyone? Okay, I didn't hear from anybody, so I'll just tell you. Remember, Solar Tax Max is going to deduct from their gross income the cost of the system. So if they're earning less than this, there's nothing we can deduct from, right? So this is a hard rule. We want to provide extreme value. We don't want to charge somebody $1,500 to give them back $2,000. Doesn't make sense. We'll walk from the transaction. We want to be providing at least 100, 200% return on their money, right? So what is adjusted gross income? Many of you guys aren't tax experts. We understand. It's income after any qualified contributions. What's a qualified contribution? It's 401k, IRA, any pension contributions. All those get deducted off the top line, and then you get AGI, or adjusted gross income. That's the number that we need. If you have problems, right on our website, on the calculator, it says right here, on the 2022 tax form, the 1040, it's line number 11. So you can't mess it up. Just type in line number 11 in here. Now we are going to have a calculator that's going to ask a couple of more questions, because we feel that when you sell solar, one of the biggest parts to selling solar is the tax credit, right? The tax deduction, the solar incentives. If we didn't have a 30% tax credit, you guys probably would be selling a lot less solar. So if we can add on additional incentives, you'll sell more solar. So it's a really important part of the conversation. Now, you guys are not tax advisors, and that's okay. We are the tax advisor that you are going to pay us a fee. The homeowner is really going to pay us a fee to be their advisor, to be their trusted expert in solar, to collect this money back. All you're doing is simply calculating what they're entitled to, right? So that removes that risk from the plate. So the solar system costs include the solar contract, any excess roofing costs to go solar. So I'll explain that in a minute. Any new electric panel, also in the Inflation Reduction Act, they get a $2,500 tax credit for their electric panel, and any tree trimming services. So to be clear, crystal clear to everyone on the call, and tell all your friends, a new roof does not receive a 30% tax credit. I know it says it everywhere on every proposal, and it also says at the bottom, we are not a tax advisor, speak to your tax advisor, and, you know, have a nice day. Well, we are tax advisors, and we can't say something that's wrong. So a new roof does not receive a 30% tax credit. If you're an EPC, reach out to us and we'll show you some advanced strategies. But for those of you selling for someone else, this is the law, okay? And it's not up for negotiation. Okay, so I went over this already. How does Solar Tax Max work? Basically, you need a net metering agreement. It must be present, otherwise we can't help, right? That's a contract, business contract to barter energy with the utility company, and all solar production is actually taxable income, mostly being unreported. So these are bartered transactions that are taxable. And this is some of the IRS law. There's a lot more to it than this. I can tell you that it's taken our team years of research to perfect this strategy, and there's nobody better in the space. There are a few other competitors doing this. I don't know if they're doing it as good as us, but they are out there. Now, when you have taxable income, that obviously creates expense deductions. And we're going to show that how the homeowner can take advantage of that. So you have the ability to depreciate the solar costs. You can deduct the loan interest, and you can deduct the maintenance costs. So here's a cool fact. Oops, what's going on here? All right. So with the advanced set of rules that we use with Solar Tax Max, there's what's called a 5% start rule. So that means that the solar system does not have to be producing energy to claim the 30% tax credit. If you're using the basic rules, the residential rules, you absolutely have to have that system producing energy. So what happens is if you sell somebody solar in October, November, December, and they get their system installed January, February, March, they can't go to 2022 and put a 30% tax credit. They've actually misfiled their taxes, and you know, they're subjecting themselves to penalty and interest without even knowing it. Most CPAs don't even know it, but it's right on line 18 of the tax form. It says the system must be producing energy. Again, most of you guys don't know this. Now that you do, because you've been through our course, this is going to make you really knowledgeable, and that's just going to help you close more deals. So here's another fun fact. Tax credits can pay last year's back taxes, and they carry forward for 22 years. So if I made a lot of money in 2022 and I owe $30,000 to the IRS for 2022 and I didn't pay them, I owe them, they're charging me penalties and interest. I'm like, man, I really messed up. You can go to that homeowner and you can say, hey, you know what? Just sign this contract right here in 2023, $100,000 solar contract. I'm going to get you a $30,000 tax credit, and that's going to be used to wipe off 2022's tax return. Can only go back 1 year, but again, how awesome is that? We can actually use this to wipe off tax liabilities from the year prior. And
Anthony,
again, go ahead.
Is that if they only not paid their taxes? If
they owe their taxes for the last year, this would pay that off.
Okay, so if they paid them, they can't go back and get a credit for that.
That's
They have to have unpaid taxes for this credit to be to go
Correct. If
backwards.
they did not, if they owe a tax liability because they did not settle up, they would pay. Now, obviously, in 2023, the tax credit would be used for 2023, and whatever they don't use would carry forward up for 22 years until it's exhausted. Now, domestic modules. It's a lot of talk. Right now, the guidance is that you need the manufacturer's certificate. So if you know somebody at Mission Solar, show me the certificate. I don't want to read anything on the internet about how, there's a tax. This is a domestic panel because it's Hanwha, it's made in Georgia or whatever. It's not the case. It's a very, very ugly tax rule that they put out saying that 40% has to be domestic, but it's needs more guidance, which hopefully I heard is coming out in December. So unless the manufacturer certifies with a certificate that it's domestic, don't say it's domestic. Don't even talk about it. I'm just putting it up here for your knowledge and education because it's important for you to know the facts and we want you to be armed with great information. So how do you get started? Again, you become a Solar Tax Pros member, complete the course, attend the weekly calls, use a phone a friend, and then refer your past solar clients to us. So if you have a list of homeowners that went solar, send us that list. We will call them. We will tell them that you referred us, that we're trying to help them collect extra solar incentives. And that would put extra money back in that homeowner's pocket. We're going to ask them to give you a great Google review. We're going to ask them to send you referrals. And then when they finally do get that check, whenever it is that the IRS decides to hand them that money retroactively for amending their tax returns, you'll give them a call because we'll know about it. And then you'll go ask them to use that money for more purchases or what have you, right? Hey, let's complete your battery. Let's complete your solar system with a battery. Let's get you some windows and doors. Let's get, some other people engaged in solar, right? So these are the benefits. So to work with us, the submission process is first, you add the Solar Tax Max plan fee to the customer proposal. You pay Solar Tax Pros only after install, only after you get your M2 payment. Then you send us the money. Then you send us the solar contract and the net metering agreement, which we need on file. And then we engage the client directly after the payment is made. So we're not going to talk to the client until our fee is paid, because why are we talking for free? And so, unless it's a phone a friend or they have some simple questions and stuff like that. We're pretty lenient with the phone a friends, but if we spend a lot of time with the homeowner helping close the sale, then, it's only fair that we charge you the extra $500 for the phone a friend fee. And that's what we want you to use, those phone a friends, because we give them away for free so that, we can help you close a sale. So the pricing, like I told you, it's either $500 for the VIP or $1,500 free trial. You have the Solar Tax Max subtractor. You have the phone a friend sales helpline, and you have the simple return tax filing fee. So the customer is going to get a plan document. They're going to get an initial customer call from us. We're going to collect all their documents. Hopefully you give that to us so we don't have to bother the customer, but they usually get it. If you don't give it to us, we'll deliver the solar tax plan documents to them, and we will follow up with a consultation with their tax preparer to explain our work. We basically did their CPA's homework for them. CPAs are not in the business of researching tax law day and night for one particular tiny line item called solar, right? As a matter of fact, most CPAs don't even do tax planning. They are tax preparers. telling you what your tax bill is, but they're not doing advanced tax planning because they don't have the time and they're not getting paid for it. But if you were to pay your CPA for advanced tax planning, they may help you with some advanced ways to lower your taxes, like, renting out your house for 14 days or creating a pension benefit plan so you can deduct $200,000-300,000 instead of using a 401k, or you could use a solo 401k. You could use some advanced insurance strategies. There's a whole plethora of advanced strategies that most CPAs have no idea about. They usually come from the financial services community. So EPCs out there, we can do a quality control survey. We can reach out and do a compliance survey of the salesperson because we need to speak to the homeowner anyway. We request Google reviews on your behalf, and we'll request referrals on your behalf. And we even have this free 4-star hotel voucher that we can send clients, but there's a lot of restrictions. It's not that great. I'm probably going to take that off. That being said, here is our phone number for us, Solar Pros only. I suggest you save it in as Solar Pros, Solar Tax Pros. And, what other questions do you folks have?
I've got a couple.
Go ahead.
Okay, you talked about a $2,500 credit for a service upgrade. That is actually $2,500 dollar amount. That's not a deduction. That's a credit for the service panel.
What are you reading the Inflation Reduction Act for me? Yes.
Okay, you mentioned tree trimming as well. The cost of tree trimming, is there a percentage of the deal? What is the limits?
Total
on
cost of the tree trimming can be included in the cost to go solar.
get the fuck out of here.
Any extra costs to go solar. Obviously, the electric panel is usually included in the solar contract anyway, so it's not a big deal. But that's where we get into excessive roofing costs, and that's the gray area, right? So a new roof does not qualify. But if you needed to reinforce that roof subjectively, that would qualify. So again, it's a moot point unless you're an EPC. It's a whole other conversation. If you're a roofer, installer, we would explain how to benefit from that. So you would lower the roofing costs and increase the solar costs. Yeah.
Okay, so I get it. So you're kind of tipping the scale a little bit in one direction.
Anthony,
and a solar's out.
Is it real that if and I'm working on
I hear Barry's voice there. Hey, Barry.
Yes, I do. But I'm working on a project where we're removing old panels. We have to remove the old roof, and we're just re-roofing the portion of the roof that the panels are going on. I've always assumed that that is subject to the investment tax credit.
That is an interesting question. So no, I don't think so though, because why are you taking off the roof? Why are you taking off the panels to put a new roof?
Well, these are solar panels that don't work, right? So they are literally part of the roof. We have to take them off, and we have to retile.
Then it would qualify.
Right. Okay.
If you're taking a remove and reinstall because you need to put a new roof, that would not qualify. But if you're doing it because panels are broken, you got to use new mounts, you got to re-roof, that would be a perfect definition of excessive roofing costs that I will use from now until the end of time. Thank you, Barry. You're always a help.
Thank you, my friend.
Okay.
Does the homeowner have to set up a business to get these extra incentives at all?
No, just like my daughter who has a lemonade stand outside our front door every Saturday does not have to open an LLC. She can be what's called a sole proprietorship. And so we're giving that homeowner a Schedule C filled out as their business. And they don't need to file an LLC. It's an extra cost that's a waste of money that you'd have to file every single year that is completely unnecessary.
And
And- I'm sorry, go ahead.
it says that it says extra incentives, but it would also be a credit as well.
Extra incentive.
On the solar tax max extra incentives line, there's the ITC, which is the tax credit, right? Of $15,000, that's a tax credit.
Yeah, that's
The
a tax credit, correct, right there.
$5,100 would also be a form of a tax credit as well, or is that guaranteed funds back?
No, that's guaranteed funds back in the form of a tax deduction. So for instance, if you earned 100,000, I have an illustration somewhere, but if you earn 100,000 and you have no tax deductions, let's say you pay $20,000 in taxes, right? No solar, straight up, you earned 100, you pay tax liability is 20,000, right, Taylor?
Yes.
Now you earn 100,000, but you can deduct, 50,000 from that 100. There's a formula. It's actually 85% of the 50,000. So let's call it $45,000. You can so now it's 100,000 minus 45,000. You can say to the government, I only earned 65,000. I had a tax deduction. So the 65,000 is now taxed at a lower tax bracket. Let's say it's 15%. And let's say the total tax rate on that is $10,000. What's the difference between before paying 20,000 and after paying 10,000? It's a $10,000 difference. That's the tax savings, right? Before and after. You got it?
Got it.
That is the solar tax max extra incentives. And this will also include, when it's possible, an extra 10% for domestic.
Right.
If we can get there, right?
And potentially low income communities. We'll see on that one.
So, yeah, so the low income communities is kind of like, you need to do community solar for that.
Right, right.
And I'm not an expert at all that.
And
But yeah.
Along the same lines of other things that you can deduct, like you were saying, tree trimming, and then also the electrical panel upgrade. If somebody was to build a structure, open air structure, any of those costs, specifically for solar.
Yeah, those are included. So we have let's say a new carport being built.
Right.
They're building the carport, not for a carport. They're building a carport for solar, right?
Mm-hmm.
You're building a porch, but are you building the porch for a backyard porch? Or are you building the porch because you want solar on the porch? So if you say, I'm building this huge 600 square foot backyard porch because I want solar on it, then that structure would get the tax credit and the tax deduction. If you built the structure and then added solar to it later, it wouldn't get it.
Right.
So it's you have to be clear with the IRS.
Anthony, I have one more question.
Please.
You made reference that, and I understand that the fact is we are operating a business if we're producing electricity and buying and selling on it. And you're suggesting that income to be reported to the IRS. And is that what we're doing? Is that what you're doing? You're literally reporting that income?
Yes.
I mean, it would certainly
And
legitimize it.
we're reporting all of the income. We're not saying, well, some of this is for the personal use and some of it is for business use. We're just making a clean transaction. It's all business use.
Oh, okay, I see.
Which makes our strategy make sense to the IRS.
Good, and it makes sense. All right, and the other thing too, on the selling side, that letter that you're handing out suggesting what the attorneys are doing, how they'll stand by. If that's something that's viable, which I'm sure that it is, or you wouldn't be saying that, but if that's something that we can use on the selling side, it would really help to, put that down there. It's like showing the warranty on something.
I know that you a certification letter warranty for your file. Now, Well,
Wonderful.
we do have some EPCs that are actually putting our engagement letter right into the DocuSign.
What's an
And
EPC? Sorry, but I don't know that term.
EPC is like a Tightner Palmetto, Engineering Procurement Construction Company.
Okay.
You would be a sales rep working with an EPC to do the installation. But when we deal directly with the installation company,
Right.
we have, you know, some extra things we can do together.
Okay.
On a commercial application, when they do install a new roof, if it was a white, like TPO roof, and we were using bifacial panels, since that roof would be in conjunction with solar and actually creating some production. Any help there on the tax credit for the new roof?
I believe that counts. Don't quote me on it. It's been a little while.
Too late.
We focus on a lot of construction. I know exactly what you're saying, the reflection on the white TPO. I think it does. Nathan, do you know off the top of your head? He might have fallen off. He's in.
No worries. That's another little gray area
I
as
can
well.
find that
That's
out for you, because it just, I knew the answer, but it hasn't touched my brain in a while, so I don't want to say it's something that's wrong, but I believe that the answer is yes. But I'll check into it for you, Taylor.
Thank you. And since a business is also going after makers, is this on top of that as well, or is the bonus depreciation?
Are you talking about like a commercial building business owner?
Correct. Installing solar, they get the tax credit, they get makers.
Right.
Yeah, they're gonna, basically, we're using the exact same advanced solar rules that any commercial property owner would qualify for, which is the makers plus the 30% tax credit. We're
Mhm.
showing the homeowners, the residential homeowners, how and why they qualify for those incentives.
Hmm.
It is
Oh,
a complete fallacy to think that the commercial rules tie to a commercial property. It's not the case at all. It's, you need to just wipe that. It's not commercial property that the IRS is looking for. It's a commercial investment. And so that homeowner is investing in a solar energy system for their home as a business.
perfect. My fault not framing the question properly. So for a commercial property that does get the ITC and makers, does your program allow for additional incentives beyond those two? No.
No.
It's basically the same thing.
It's the same thing. He's asking for extra. I can't.
Yeah,
I
right.
can't do it. Although the TPO roof sounds pretty good. Yeah.
Yeah, and the other thing that always comes up is rentals, right? And how that's structured either under a LLC or if they're owned personally, and what the homeowner actually does qualify for on a rental or a VRBO.
Yeah, so it's all the same. Commercial incentives qualify for any, if I own 100 houses and I rent out 100 houses, you know, all of them qualify for commercial incentives, to me personally, right? To my businesses. Whether the finance company wants to loan me money based upon who the tenant is in the house, and if there's an LLC by the homeowner and yada, yada, that's a whole rigmarole you have to deal with the finance company. But from a tax perspective, 100%. Those all count.
And it doesn't matter if the VRBO or the rental is, they've knocked it down to making $0 and deducted everything they can, or however that works on the tax side of things. Does it have to
Well,
make money?
yeah, you got to make money. Otherwise, you got nothing to write off. So most
Right.
sophisticated commercial real estate owners are not paying income taxes. So you have to be careful there, right? They are using cost segregation analysis. They're accelerating their property and they're eliminating their tax liabilities. And they're using the extra savings to go buy another building, to do it again and not pay any income. So you're a very smart man. Yeah, be careful with that.
Cool. Thank you.
You're welcome. Barry, again,
I'm here.
do you need anything? You're not on mute.
Oh, no, I'm good.
Okay. I see a couple of other people, David, Jamie, Chris, do you have any questions before we call it a night? Jamie?
Nope, thank you very much. Just taking it in.
Okay, great. Jamie, did you sign up for the membership yet?
Thing, if I may. Can you hear?
Yeah, go ahead.
Maybe not.
Looks like he froze.
I think
Yeah.
am I here? You can hear me? Can you guys hear me? Okay, well, I think we'll call it a night. I can't really hear anybody. I'm not sure if we froze or what. But if you have any other questions, just book a call and we'll move